Hi everybody! Making tunnel books is lovely to do, but it can be a bit of a challenge when it comes to building up the side pieces. Here I've taken 4 panels to show you how to do it in a modular manner, which I think makes life a lot easier and enables you to build up a scene as small or as big as you like, and you can change your mind as you go. I'm doing a garden scene for my daughter's wedding anniversary featuring where they got married last year, and I've got yew hedges on one side and a lovely herbaceous border in a walled garden on the other, and I've built up using lots of flower cutouts, and I've tried to create a dimensional effect by not just sticking extra flowers on the front and back, but also using foam stickies just to build up a little bit of depth. And basically what I'm going to be doing is taking sequential panels and putting them in pairs and matching them up with accordion side pieces, and that way it gives me a great deal of flexibility and ease. So first of all, you've got to build up your accordion side pieces or hinges, and I've taken cards 16 centimeters by 8 centimeters, 16 centimeters being the height of my panels, and I've scored them at 2 centimeters in 4 places, and that gives me a lovely squashy hinge which allows for flexibility but is actually quite strong too. So the first thing to do is, having scored my lines on the right size piece of paper, then I have decided that what I want to do before I fold them is to emboss to match the panels, and on the side with the yew hedge I've done a bit of embossing using my embossing mat just on that bottom section before I consider folding. On the other side, which I have folded, is using a wall folder to mimic the walled garden that I used. Then the next thing you have to do is to do 2 valley folds on either side with a mountain fold in the middle, so you end up with a piece that looks something like this. And when you stand that up, you've got the outer edge at the back there, it'll stick on one panel, and then the outer edge on the other side will stick on the other, with the mountain fold in the middle facing inwards, and then you'll be able to press down very easily. So for my first panel, I've got it with right side down, so wrong side up. What I'm going to be doing is taking one of my hinge pieces where I've matched up the hedge, so just check you've got the right piece before you start, and also make sure that that mountain fold faces inwards, and then it's just a question of sticking it to the panel. I use a multi-purpose glue, but of course you could use double-sided tape. So I like using an all-purpose glue, and a cotton wool bud spreads it out beautifully. And then all you've got to do is take your hinge piece, check you've got it the right way round, and then line it up carefully with the edge. Keeping it straight is quite important, so it pays to take a little bit of care at this stage. Once that's done, I use a little bit of plastic on top and underneath so that any excess glue doesn't leak out and stick to the scrap paper underneath, and then I just weight it down with one of my trusty cookbooks just for a couple of minutes to allow that glue to set. Once that's done, I just peel out the plastic, and I'm going to do the other side of the panel in exactly the same way. So make sure you take that plastic out before you start gluing, because you don't really want to get it on that, and I'm going to take that out in a moment, and I'm just lining up my brick wall the right way round first. So take out that plastic, put on the glue, and then put my hinge in exactly the same manner as I did before. Really does only take a couple of minutes. Now for the next panel, the top panel, I want it the other way round, because that is going to have the hinges facing onto the right side this time. But aside from that, it's exactly the same, so just make sure you get the panels the right way round, and I'm going to do exactly as I have done previously. Just line up that hinge in the same manner as you did for the first panel, and just press down. And as you see, if you're accurate about your positioning, it's dead easy to do. For the other side, I open it out a bit like a book, And I'm going to put my glue in the same manner as I did before. And then I'm going to bring the other side over and close the book, but again just line it up carefully and make sure that you get it aligned and press it so that it's straight. Once you've done it, you get modules, and here I've got 3 modules I've made, so 6 panels in total. And then what I've got to do is adhere each one to the other. In this particular model I'm going to work from back to front, but of course you can do it the other way around. It's entirely up to you. And this system gives enormous flexibility because in fact my project ended up being deeper than I'd originally planned as I added more modules and more panels. Now for this you do exactly as the same as you did before, making sure that that mountain fold in the middle faces in to the panel. I'm putting the glue on in the same way, and I'm just going to add the next hinge, lining it up to match my scene. Press it down, pop a little bit of plastic in the middle and use that trusty book once more. Then turn your panel round and put a hinge on the other side. For the next stage, adding the next module to it, put your glue on the outside edge of your hinge piece. And then take your next module, make sure you've got it in the right order, and line your hinges up straight as you've done before. And as you see, it compresses absolutely excellently and keeps lovely and straight. So once more, to do the last piece, I'm just going to get rid of, open out the book to get rid of that panel out of the way, because otherwise you're going to be trying to work in difficulty. But opening it out like the book works brilliantly. Stick the glue on, bring your module over, and just stick one to the next. And you just gradually do this, building up your scene to whatever depth you want, and it compresses down wonderfully. And here I've stuck those panels together, and you can see that my scene is starting to build quite nicely. Now I did add to it, and I put more panels in front, and in fact I also ended up putting more panels behind to finish off my tunnel book effect. And I'm hoping that the impression of the garden works quite well. There's a lovely sculpture called the Angel Gate in this garden, and I've recreated that at the back too. So all I have to do now is put it inside its book, which I will do in another tutorial, and create a very lovely keepsake that I hope my daughter will enjoy. Thank you for watching.